Hey everybody, and welcome to this special edition episode of the DVC Show, live from our 3-bedroom grand villa here at BoardWalk Villas. I'm your host, Paul Krieger. I'm joined, as always, by my lovely wife, Amy. How are we doing?
We're good. Hanging in there.
We think we're good. We're not 100% sure, and I'm just going to lead this entire show with a caveat, which is the fact that we are running this whole show off of my iPhone's internet, because we'll get into that story later about just our experience here in the Grand Villa so far and the internet issues we've had. But that's been essentially what we've decided to do at the moment, and so far so good. It's up and running. If something shuts down, who knows? At least we're recording it and we can then play it back later. If the audio is not as great as normal, yeah, we're trying our best. So,
and 2 of our mics aren't working. We have a variety of microphones, so we're
a little bit of
Paul and I are going to share this little.
Hello.
And then we've got some other sharing going on. So if you can't hear someone, let us know. We'll tell them they need to
use
their outside voice.
use their big boy voice. So we do have a lot of amazing friends joining us today. They're going to kind of alternate in and out throughout the show, and we've got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about as well. So let's get right to introducing them. First and foremost, we've got John Sakari, aka Big Fat Panda, with us today.
Welcome home, literally. We're here.
Panda, what do you think of the villa so far?
I like it a lot. I do like the 1-level sprawling one better. There's a 2-level, but I love it. It's the BoardWalk. Come on.
It's the BoardWalk. You can't complain with the BoardWalk. And someone that made a special trip just to be here with us, Mary Littig. Mary, how are you today?
I am absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for the invite, and I'm thrilled to be here.
It's so amazing to have you.
And you know how hard it is to get airfare last minute just to get down here? It's expensive.
It feels like all of your trips just somehow align with something that we're doing, and
I know
we love
it's
having
wonderful.
you be here and love having you be a part of this. How's your vacation been so far?
Absolutely magical.
That's awesome.
Yep, each day better than the last.
Perfect. Well, on the left side of the table, we have a motley crew of people. The one, the only, Jeff Haslam is with us as always.
Hey, everybody.
How we doing, Jeff?
Doing great. Thanks for letting me be here.
You slept well last night in the Grand Villa?
Did sleep well. Yep, heard every noise on the boardwalk all night long, but I slept well.
Yeah, it definitely, that's kind of the give and take with the boardwalk view, is that there's kind of the benefit of a beautiful view, and you're on the 6th floor technically.
Technically the 6th floor, and we have a balcony both that overlooks the living room and the boardwalk. The only problem is the one that overlooks the living room has no curtains, so it's always bright and shiny, even in the middle of the night.
And another person that made a special trip in today for this live stream, not really, no, he just made a special trip because it's his wife's birthday. But Phil Murphy is with us. How you doing, Phil?
Excellent. Thank you very much for having me on this very special episode.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. You need to come visit more often.
I'm trying.
Yeah, trying. Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah. Had a good stay. You guys started off at Polynesian.
Polynesian. We did a theme park view, just a deluxe studio for one night, and then we transferred over here to our 1-bedroom, and it's been a very good experience.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and I know your lovely wife's going to join us a little bit later. We also have other friends. Dan and Jeff are sitting back here just kind of making sure all of this looks okay and sounds okay. So far, so good. Everyone, no complaints in the chat from what I can hear.
Yeah. If I'm looking down, it's because I'm reading your comments, but it's good to see some of you guys, and it's a little delayed. So
yeah,
we're seeing things a little bit after they're happening on here. But yes, thank you so much. And Derek DeVore just got to his hotel room. He said, "Hey now."
Hey now.
You guys.
We miss Derek. Derek is going to make sure he joins us for the second SummerFest weekend that happens in July at Saratoga Springs. But he unfortunately was not able to be here for this one because his son is, Derek, correct me if I'm wrong, he's in like a worldwide international rowing tournament of some nature. I know I've made it sound a lot more grand and
Sarasota, and they just made it to finals. I think he
did
said.
they?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
they did. They came
awesome.
third in the last Heat or whatever
Yes.
it's called, and they're in
Well,
the finals tomorrow. So
Derek, I feel like he drives all over Florida for these rowing events. So he's a wonderful father as well as a used time share salesman. So, but before we go any further, before we get into all the kind of fun stuff we want to talk about today, I do want to put a big shout out to our sponsors, the world of DVC, who DVC fan essentially probably wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for the world of DVC and the amazing support that they've shown us over there. DVC Resale Market, where if you're looking to buy a Disney Vacation Club contract, they can help you with the purchase of that contract and save you a lot of money. If you're looking to sell a contract, specifically Derek asked me to say if you're looking to sell a Polynesian contract, and we'll get into that more later, definitely head over dvcresalemarket.com. They can assist. Over at Monerafinancial.com, if you need some assistance financially with purchasing that DVC resale contract purchase, they can do that. They've got a variety of rates to choose from, and they can make that process very, very simple. And last but certainly not least, the DVC rental store, where you can try before you buy. If you're looking to rent some Disney Vacation Club points for an upcoming vacation, maybe you're looking to stay in a beautiful 3-bedroom grand villa on BoardWalk, they will save you a bunch of money on that stay as compared to direct through Disney. As well, if you are a member, not going to use your points this year, going to potentially do something else, maybe go on a cruise, who knows what, but you need some cash for that, DVC Rental Store can help you rent out your points and make some money from those. So again, you guys have been awesome at supporting them, and they are who made this entire weekend happen, this 3-bedroom grand villa happen, and so please just show some love to them. I feel like I've talked for a while. Panda, what do you have to talk about?
What do I have to talk about? Paul, I want to ask you.
Ooh.
Do we have any indication about the new Poly Tower?
I told
What
you.
association it might
I
be?
told you that there was one quick way to get kicked out of this grand villa.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. I appreciate it.
So, actually, unfortunately, Panda does have to leave in like 20 minutes. So it's a funny joke. We will not get
so
kicked
let's
him
talk
out.
about the Poly.
we
Let's-
should have pretended like we were kicking him out. Just
Yeah.
left it, unless it had
Oh,
that.
it's 4:30.
Oh, no.
I should have brought it up before.
The internet would have lit on fire.
Yeah.
I'm just
I
kidding.
know everybody would have come to your defense.
So let's talk about the news that everyone has been just all over. And I just want to put this play-by-play for you. So Amy and I woke up yesterday morning. We left our house around 9 a.m. to come here and check into the Grand Villa. Amy drove because I had to do some work. But little did I know, when my phone pinged with a bunch of different notifications, that Disney decided while we were driving on I-4, it never fails. Like, it is all, we have been on a cruise ship reporting things. We've been
Airplane.
driving from here to Miami to board a cruise. I've been in Indy for work. We have just, there's been a little bit of everything, and it never fails. They always decide to drop the biggest news, and that is the beautiful Island Tower, which is joining the existing association at Disney's Polynesian Villas and Bungalows. Do we need to make it any clearer? Like, there are still naysayers out there, and I don't know if
There
you're just...
are.
I think it's a joke at this point.
I don't know.
They're just messing with us. I don't think there are some people that are on the until I hear those words, it's going to be the same association from Disney. Exactly. They're not going to say it. They're just going to start selling and opening up bookings, and they're not going to say it because they've said everything they're going to say. It is an addition to the Polynesian Villas
They basically
and Bungalows. That is the legal name that if you own Poly right now, that is on your deed, that is on your mortgage. You can look it up on the Orange County Comptroller. That is the legal name. That is what they are saying. It is an addition to those villas. And they even go further and say things in the press release like the new tower will have deluxe studios, adding to the deluxe studios already at
You don't have to.
this resort. So there's just in my mind, in our minds, and we've been researching this and doing this for a long time, it is the same association. There is no chance, unless, I don't know, something explodes, that it's going to change. And, and it's fine to want to wait to be sure, but I'm telling you right now, we bought our Polynesian points for $130 a point, and those contracts are now $175, $190. There's
Yes.
one listed for $210 right now.
Yep.
And I've financed ones for 200 point, 190, and 175 that come across my desk in the past week. So waiting can have bad effects. That's just.
Yeah, and the longer you wait, the more that price is going to continue to tick upwards towards probably where that direct number is, which we're expecting it to probably come in close to $250
is what
when
we're
it
thinking.
goes on sale. Mary, you love Disney Vacation Club as much as we do. What were your initial thoughts based off of all the pictures and everything that came out yesterday?
Oh, I did like the pictures that came out. The interior.
Yeah.
It's the exterior and the way it's just sort of plunked between the Poly and the Grand Floridian that I have an issue with.
Yeah, we've
The
noticed.
interior, those pictures did look gorgeous.
Yeah. I think it kind of gives off like a Grand Destino vibe to a certain degree.
Yes, it were with the pillars and it looks like tiles and things. Yes,
Yeah.
it does have that feel.
They gave a lot of detail in terms of kind of the eco-friendly nature of the resort. And something that I didn't know was that the original concept for the Polynesian included a tower. Yeah. So the original
It almost
concept
looked like a stepped-up pyramid, the pictures I've seen.
Yeah.
I know it.
So, and they're basically saying that this is kind of the fulfillment of that original idea with the Polynesian of fulfilling that full design now with everything. Panda, what were your?
Okay, so originally I was unhappy with the location. I didn't like the way it looked. It got rid of a luau that I really did like, even though I hadn't gone so often. I'm one of those, how could they do that? When was the last time you were there? 20 years ago. But when I saw those interior pictures, I fell in love with it. And I know, I got to accept it. We can't get rid of it. It's there. So when I saw the interior pictures, I was really happy about that.
I will say, pulling into the Magic Kingdom today on the monorail, when you look over at the building, when it was all the gray cement finish and it was the, with the white primer, it really looked extra horrendous. I call it butt ugly. That's a good way to describe it, butt ugly. But now that you see the browns and the beige and the creams, it doesn't jump in your face as much as that gray did.
I think we're just
hoping
accepting
it's
it
going to, that could be.
Because every time we go past it, it's a little better. That part of it is us.
Well, and if you actually look at the concept art that they gave out yesterday, the concept art is actually a much darker color tone from what they gave out yesterday as compared to the original concept art that we received like a year and a half ago. So maybe
it'll be a little darker.
Maybe they've listened. Maybe they're
they'll tone it down a little bit.
Maybe they're toning down that color scheme to bring in more of that original Polynesian theme. And something that we know that the Poly has announced is that they're bringing kind of some of the color palette from the villas over into the existing longhouses.
They're doing a lot of exterior painting on those.
Yeah, so they're doing some painting over there as well, and it'll be interesting to see what the finished product looks like. Now, there is no one at this table that is more of a Polynesian fan than the one, the only Phil Murphy. And Phil, are you in love?
I am completely in love.
Ooh,
completely in love.
Nice.
It's the culmination of a long time, I guess, Imagineering dream, according to the article. I thought I was a big fan, but I learned about that little tidbit from your article yesterday. So that was cool to find out. And I think that they are making some concessions because if you look, the wedding pavilion's right here. I think this is where the Polynesian's property line ends. They're on top of each other, but that end of that tower is painted white and I feel like they did that to sort of transition, make it the transition for the visual perspective a little easier.
Yeah.
In recognition of some of the
still
feedback.
primer?
I don't think it doesn't look like primer to me. It could very well be, but to leave it sitting out there like that for that long, it probably dried within the first 48 hours, and it's been like that for several weeks.
Right.
So I truly feel like they did that purposefully, but I could be wrong. I'm not a local, so this is the only stage I've seen it in. But I'll be interested to see how that continues to progress. But very excited, especially I think that there appears to be a 2-story waterfall maybe in the lobby. In that back seting area, which I'm very excited for.
There was definitely a 2-story waterfall in the original Polynesian building earlier this week when
that was the boutique waterfall.
The boutique waterfall. You're the one that tipped us off on that. You were like, "Hey, did you hear about the waterfall?" Like
that video was
what are you making up, Panda?
I know. That's why I had to send you video because sometimes I do make it up.
But no, yeah, the waterfall looks beautiful. I think it all looks great. Is it going to get you to add on points?
Oh, for sure. You told us a long time ago that this is what was going to happen. All signs point to Lauderdale or whatever, and I didn't listen. And I kind of kicked myself because about 6 months after you told me, they made that announcement. And we still didn't pull the trigger because it wasn't the right time for our family. And now we're at the point where these resale contracts are continuing to increase in price. We're getting closer to the potential sale date for direct. We really want to see what incentives they're going to come out with for direct sale versus resale, and we'll make our decision at that point. I'm going to end up paying a premium because I didn't listen to Paul and Amy. We'll call that a life experience premium, but we're going to add on there regardless. Bill Derrickson, Bob Iger, they're all getting my money no matter what.
I have to highlight this because I absolutely love it. The man is sitting across the room from us and putting in comments. So Jeff said, is there going to be a second monorail stop? I'm worried about how that's all going to shake out.
That's a hard no.
I am. I don't know. It's going to be. It's busy now. I don't understand how they're going to handle it. And this is not coming as a hater. This is just a thought. Like I don't know how that's all going to work.
We don't have a mic on Jeff just yet. But we'll get one on him.
He did talk pretty loud though.
He did use his big boy outdoor voice, and basically said that it is a concern. There is not going to be a second monorail stop. So.
I feel like in their heads, well, it's very expensive to put in a monorail stop. I mean, we're talking about cutting a piece.
They don't
of
even. They don't even want to refurb the monorail or touch it.
Right.
But in their head, I think it's like, well, you can walk this way and hop on the Grand Floridian monorail, or you can walk this way and hop on the Polynesian monorail.
Right.
No matter what, even if you put in a monorail stop, you're going to have the same amount of people trying to board the same trains, right? So I don't know that would even help. You need more. I don't know if you need more monorail cars out. I don't know how to alleviate that, but it is going to cause something.
I have Jeff's concern a lot.
Yes.
And I thought about it a lot, Jeff. I think that we're going to see a day where they have to say these last 2 cars on the monorail won't get loaded at a certain stop, and they'll reserve them for. Because if it's a Christmas party or a Halloween party, if you're at the Grand Floridian,
you're sunk. You're
sunk.
not going to get on.
You're not getting on. They're going to have to reserve a cabin or two to be empty until it gets to that hotel in order to work.
Well, I'm at the Grand Floridian now, and it can still be a long back.
Right,
I have to wait for a second. Right. And then you add on all those others.
Amy walking down the steps in the background.
I don't know if I'm in the
Yes,
camera.
there's lots of people
You
that
were
are
caught
kind
on
of
camera.
behind scenes, and there's going to be knocks on the door and everything like that. We wanted this to kind of just be a laid-back, fun event, an opportunity to talk to you all that maybe weren't able to be here this weekend, and just kind of have some fun. So it's going to be a lot more informal than a traditional show. Now, someone that has probably been the maddest since the original news broke is the man over here next to Phil. And that's only because he was in the room where it happens, if we're quoting Hamilton. And he has just been, pounding his head against the wall about, the fact that there's been naysayers ever since the condo association last year. Just give us your thoughts, Jeff.
I am excited, and you're right. I probably am the maddest. Anytime anybody says, not till I hear it from Disney, I'm like, man, you're going to spend a lot of money for that mistake. Because I was in the room, along with 300 other people that heard them say it's going to be part of the existing association. So,
gee, now you convinced him. Now you confused him even more.
I know, sorry. But as far as the tower looks, I'm actually in Phil's camp, and I don't like to say that very often. We don't like to be in the same camp, but I really think it's going to look nice. I think it's going to fit in just fine. I know it's a little close to the Grand Floridian, but I don't know. I just think the way that they're going to blend it all together, I think they're not done with it outside yet. It's just bare bones right now. So as they add those aesthetic things that Disney's famous for, I really think it's going to be beautiful. I can't wait.
Yeah. I think, we're talking about transportation issues. I think that they should just pound in some pilings where they meet the property line for the Polynesian Island Tower and where the wedding pavilion is, and add a boat. If we're going to add a full resort worth of potential monorail traffic, just add a couple more boats, pound some pilings in, build another dock, or extend the existing dock at the Polynesian, and maybe add another dock at Wilderness Lodge to have 2 additional boats moving around the lake. I love seeing that lake traffic, hearing the tooting of the horns and the music coming from the boats is part of the experience for me. And I think that, yes, building that rail spike would be very inconvenient, would set their timeline back, be very expensive, maybe wasn't a practical thing to do, but adding some boats and a dock or 2 would be relatively inexpensive and fairly simple to do.
Well, and to be fair, there's been times that we've stayed at the Poly that the monorail was starting to get backed up, and we just decided to walk over and take the big boat, you know, the big Mark Twain looking ship, because
Yeah.
it's not that far, you know. So
Right.
there's plenty of options. You don't have to ride the monorail.
That's true.
The the big thing with the monorail for me has always just been kind of the loop and where you get on. It really affects kind of how busy it is, because if you're specifically, I say that as a Grand Floridian owner, because if you're at the Grand Floridian and trying to get to Magic Kingdom, they've already picked up at Bay Lake Tower, they've picked up at TTC, they've picked up at the Poly, and by the time it gets to you, it's full. And then, you know, reverse it at the end of the night, you know, you've got kind of the same issues going on. So the monorail in general, I think, is going to be something that they have to look at as, is this really going to be a viable transportation method as we move forward? Because
plus, I mean, Disney's famous for making things smell good, popcorn and cookies, and how that monorail still smells like a zoo today after all these years. Like, they've got to be able to do something.
Did you notice it was dripping on us the other day? Whenever we were on it together last, the ceiling was dripping on us.
That's a feature.
Oh.
That's a feature. It's part of the experience.
It was when we were going by the Polynesian, so.
Yeah.
Oh
You
my
pay
goodness.
extra for that.
Yeah.
I liked this one comment. I'm trying to go back to it. Carissa said that she purchased a resale poly contract because we purchased a resale poly contract, and that it went away. Now she's tempted to list it because of what the resale price is at. That's not a terrible idea.
Okay, two
Called
things
it.
about that alias, I guess, or handle. Clarissa explains nothing. That's hilarious. That's like Clarissa explains it all. And I just have to say this because this just reminded me. Caleb, the guy who catered when we stayed at the bungalow, he catered for Melissa Joan Hart like last week. And yeah, he has pictures with her. And it was just interesting to see her.
Here at Disney? Or
I don't know
somewhere else?
where it was. It was in Florida somewhere. But like there's pictures and stuff with him and her. So I just thought that was really cool. Anyway, there were two comments that I wanted to highlight.
I'm never going to find them. But
You're not. They're down a little bit further. One is from Brian J. It says, as a former monorail cast member, I can tell you unless Disney changes its safety rules, it would be very hard to add cars or trains to the resort beam, which makes a lot of sense. As of now, they must keep at a minimum 2,000 feet apart. Thank you for that insight. So I think we're just going to end up with some really crowded monorails. Unfortunately. And then one more comment, Patrick Little, appreciate the live chat on a Saturday. Much respect from sunny Seattle. Keep up the amazing content. Patrick, please have a proshki for us because we miss them so much. The beef and chatter ones particularly.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights of our trip to Seattle for sure. But yeah, we're excited about the Polynesian news, and there's going to be a lot more coming up in the future. Just in case you missed it, head over to dvcfan.com for the full article that we wrote up. There were, just to kind of go through the bullet points of tidbits that were shared yesterday. The new tower is going to include a combination of duo studios. There will be deluxe studios, 1-bedroom villas, 2-bedroom villas, and a new room category called the 2-bedroom penthouse villa. So that is going to probably be those areas up at the top. What do you think of the penthouse villas? Are they...
That sounds good. I'm surprised there's no 3-bedroom grand villa because I've just been used to that at every hotel.
Right.
Yeah.
But it sounds nice. I have to see it. They didn't release any pictures of that, did they?
No pictures so far. I think that I have to wonder if just the general thought is whether or not people are utilizing a 3-bedroom grand villa for all of that space, and whether or not they felt that was, a better utilization of it, and or the fact that they didn't want to maybe boost the point charts too far. Because what the tower is doing is kind of helping the point chart problem.
Yeah.
What is the big empty box in the middle?
Yes, I know. I tried to figure that
There's
out.
actually two of them, and we don't know.
I
We
thought it was going to be a 2-story,
hours.
3-bedroom. That was my guess.
That's what I thought.
2-story grand villa, but
We're
now
going
if
to
you
find
go
out the
by at
monorail's
night,
going to go around and inside it.
if you look at night though, there's glass panels all the way from floor to ceiling set back, maybe
Maybe it'll
15
just look
feet. Have you
nice.
seen that, Dan?
Yeah.
It looks to me like some sort of lounge.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I agree.
And and it kind of reminds me of, and they didn't announce there being any kind of club level or anything in the new tower. I do think that's a little bit of a miss. That would have been very popular, although that would have also inflated the point chart some. But the way they're kind of recessed and the way they look like they do have 2 stories to them.
You're thinking of the Tonga
It
concierge.
reminds me of the concierge of Polynesian, yeah. So I think it's more just like a lounge, and it looks like you could probably see fireworks from both of them. So maybe a fireworks viewing area. It's hard to tell.
But there's some on the other side too, so where you won't see fireworks. You can just watch the monorail all full go by where you can't get it.
Well, you can watch me shank a golf club into the woods when you're on that side.
I thought it was a little reminiscent of like what Alani's, when you walk into Alani, how it's that open air kind of
I thought that too.
check-in desk area, and then you can walk out and there's the ocean. Having a couple of open air flow-through areas to sit and lounge would be sort of an homage to that. And I hope that that's what that ends up being.
That would be a very Hawaiian thing.
Yeah. Panda used to stay in the
Concierge all the time.
Yeah.
When I lived in New York, that was my thing. I was a travel agent. It was $170 a night for Tonga concierge for me. So I would go for 9 nights every year.
Oh,
For
wow.
$170 a night.
Yeah, how could you not?
You can't.
Yeah.
Also, as part of the announcement yesterday, we learned that there will be a new restaurant that is going to be coming to the Polynesian as well. So no details on that. It looks like it's going to be on the main level. It actually is going to overlook the pool area and probably overlook Seven Seas Lagoon. So that is going to be fun. And
just the location reminds me of Makahiki. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
At Alani, because that's kind of where Alani is, on that ground floor. You know, walk out in the pool's kind of right there. So hopefully, I'm hoping it's like sit down, not signature, like a nice sit down place. You know, I don't know.
Any mention of counter service or quick service or anything like that for it?
I have to imagine that it's probably going to be kind of a full service, sit down restaurant, based off everything that we've seen.
Then that'll overload places like Gasparilla Grill and Captain Cook's.
Yeah, and there could be 2. Again, we don't. It's so early in the process that we don't know. Just in case you missed it, Panda just got a lot thinner, and we've got DVC Dan joining us now. Dan, how are you?
I'm good. I think this is the debut, right? I have never actually sat.
You've never actually
camera or a
sat
microphone.
on the show or
No, I
anything. Make sure
haven't.
you talk into that microphone.
Okay. Yes. Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Just kind of a chance to speak. We said it was what? DVC fans, DVC Dan.
That is your
That is the
that
official
That is the
name.
official
Mhm.
title.
Yeah.
Nice shirt you have there too.
Thank you.
Where'd you
I know
find
I'm not
that?
the only one. There's 3 of us here tonight.
Yeah.
My lovely spouse is the one who found him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Found him on our website. So if you are looking for some DVC fan merch,
The
we do
link
have
was
that
posted in the chat.
for sale. So
Can I just say one thing really quick?
no.
It's about how it's supposed to go.
I know we've been really successful at doing this show from afar, Zoom style, but it is really fun to do this in the same room with y'all and
Yeah.
spend the weekend together. Like, we actually do like each other. I know it's weird, but it's been a fun weekend. So
It's been great to kind of get together with people and everything. I just whacked you in the
Yep.
head. I don't know what to do with
I
that
know.
arm.
On
And
video
this,
and
and this
everything.
arm is doing all of the
There's no
all of
space.
the everything.
Yeah.
We all hang out a ton outside of what you guys see on the show. So like you guys think that we all just are always virtual, but we see each other. Except for Phil, sadly, we see each other
He
basically
lives
every
way too far
weekend.
away.
In some capacity. So we're always hanging out, but it is cool just to get everyone together. While I say that, don't get used to it because, we did talk about going back into kind of an in-person show a while ago, but I think that we've kind of shown, and a lot of people have said that, our format currently works very well. And we want to continue to do that, and it gives us greater flexibility too. We want to continue to inject other personalities on the show. Maybe have Phil and Pauline on from time to time. Have other people that are maybe not locals that can give a different perspective on from time to time. And that flexibility is provided in the Zoom space, and also I can control it a lot better in that format of a show, because if you guys, we'll put over on our Patreon, I'll take a picture of the setup after the show, but if you could see just what's going on behind the scenes right now.
Kind of a hot mess.
It is a hot mess, and especially doing it from like a villa, because, we walked in not knowing what we were going to have available to us. And this morning, Amy gets on her computer because she's on call for work this weekend for Monera. So if you got a loan this weekend, she's still writing you loans. But she goes, hey, there's no internet. and we were like, that's not good. So immediately we called down to the front desk. We waited around for about 2 hours for basically tech support to do what you would expect tech support to do in an internet circumstance.
Tell us to restart our computer.
Did you restart your computer? I'm going to go restart the router. We'll see if it helps. It did not really help. The internet is still very poor here, so that kind of made us pivot very quickly to this. But it seems like it's working. So it's so far so good, but it definitely won't be the norm. And I think leaving it for these special type of events, these special type of shows are
Makes it
kind
more
of
special.
Right.
Are special.
And Panda, he did leave without saying goodbye. He just kind of
He
snuck
just
out.
snuck out. Yeah.
So
Give some hand signals.
Yeah.
some hand signals. But so he had to leave, unfortunately, but we're gonna swap some more people out pretty soon.
He's going to a Golden Girls event. That was more important for him. So
I think he
that.
already had tickets.
Okay,
so
whatever. But I'm still. Are any Golden Girls fans in the DVC fan community? Put a comment. Put
first
a
of
like.
all, Dan, DVC
Absolutely.
Dan is a
yes.
huge Golden Girls
Golden
fan.
Girls and Golden Palace.
I'm already kind of strained, and you're asking questions like that.
I don't know where to go from here, and so
Thank you for being.
Ooh, DCA'd immediately.
we had Dom just said that. Here, this is just proof and point that we're always doing something. Dom said I had to call Monera about an hour and a half ago and got to talk to Amy. So
I did talk to him. He was so nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Hi.
we're
Nice
still
to see you again.
we're still working the
Talking.
phones from the Grand Villa while we're doing this and everything else. Just fun stuff. But a lot of Golden Girls likes in the comments.
Yes, we're not alone
I used to
here.
watch
We're
it
not
with
alone.
my grandma.
Yeah, that was my thing too. My grandma and my mother too. We watched
Yeah.
it all every weekend.
So be putting questions in the live chat here because we will try to get to as many of those as possible throughout. We don't really have any structure for this, but we're just going to kind of continue to go through things. Dan, since you just joined the table, any last thoughts on the Polynesian? I didn't click on the right camera. Hold on.
So
There you go.
I'm jealous of anybody that owns there. I'd love to own at the Poly, either location, I guess. Jeff and I really want a Magic Kingdom resort. We have kind of gone back and forth between the Poly and Copper Creek. I think we're probably going to land on Copper Creek over Polynesian, probably just based on price. That's kind of what things are looking at for us. I love everything about the Polynesian. I don't know too much about the towers, so I kind of look to you guys to educate me a little bit more, sort of on what's happening there. It's hard for me to follow. But I did see those big squares, like
Yes,
the big
open.
voids in the buildings.
Yes, on
So-
both sides.
Yeah, both sides,
Yes.
left and right. Yep. So I'm pretty curious to kind of eventually go there and see kind of what lies in those.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's all I got.
That's all you got?
That's all I got. Yeah.
Thank
there's lots of smirking happening. What's going on?
No, we're.
Secret messages.
We're laughing at the comments, not towards you.
Yeah.
Well, and
No,
Jeff
no,
and Amy are in the background
Yeah,
giving me
yeah.
some kind of look
all
like I'm doing
kinds of
something
stuff.
wrong.
Poor Tom McPherson.
That's why we were laughing.
Yeah.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom. Tom, we're going to meet up with Tom here in a little bit.
Yeah.
If you are on property tonight or anywhere in the Orlando area, we are doing 2 live meetups tonight at 7 o'clock on the Village Green area here. That's kind of outside of Flying Fish, right outside the main doors when you come in the boardwalk. We're just going to kind of be milling about and just saying hi to people. So if you are in the general area and want to meet
We
up with
also
us.
have magnets.
We do have magnets. I
Ooh,
don't.
that'll be worth
I don't
it.
even remember where I
Oh,
put
wait,
them.
they're right here.
Someone's gonna find a magnet and show it to you. But
So come find us, and you can get a fancy schmancy.
this was all Jeff Haslam's idea.
Oh.
And,
I mean,
go
you
ahead.
guys like your annual pass holder magnets, and I get it that it's Stitch, but you could get one of these bad boys.
This is better than Stitch.
But you
Way
have to come
better.
see us.
Now,
All right.
Did you see the Stitch one?
Yes, I got
the
it.
evolution of
You
these,
do?
there's going to be an
Yeah.
evolution of these as well. So this is just the original, limited edition.
Oh, collector's
count-
item. I like
count
it.
of-
It'll go
count
up
of-
in value.
Count
Yay.
of 200. Now, Mary, what would you say if I told you that the second one will have Derek DeBoer's face on it? So
Well, they don't face backwards though, do they? I couldn't put it, not going to be magnetized on both sides, so I couldn't turn it out.
Poor
Sorry,
Derek.
Derek.
I thought you
sorry.
wanted it to face like a certain way so
No,
you could
she-
like put it
she
inside your
doesn't-
car.
she wants to turn Derek around sometimes. And
Well, we all do sometimes.
but
Sorry, Derek.
but yeah, no, I think it'd be fun to kind of have some other ones come up. So anyhow, back to Tom here. Good man, and just can't wait to see him tonight. He sends me a message and he goes, "Hey, I ordered a sheet cake from Publix for the event," and that sounds great. We were all thrilled. My big thing turned into, we don't have any place to hold it. So we asked Phil if he would just stand there and hold the sheet cake for the
And
entire
people take our
event.
slices.
Somewhat like this, just with his arms out. Yeah. The entire event, because tonight's it's just a very informal meetup tonight, so we've not done anything officially with Disney for tonight's events, and we're trying to keep it low key. We also just very much want to respect Disney's policies. It's one of the reasons why we did not have anyone over to the Grand Villa as part of this weekend. It's why we won't have anyone to our, I don't think I've said this yet, but our Treehouse Villa that we are going to have for the Saratoga weekend. But, you know, Disney does have very strict policies on meetups, fire code, all of that.
But
kind of stuff.
yeah, with that said, we're using this weekend to kind of test things out, and
Yes.
and our plan is to do something larger, something where we share it with you before the 11-month window. So if you would like to be part, you can book your stay and plan, to come down, and something where we will rent, a space on property. So we're looking into that. We found some really great ideas for that. But yeah.
So I told Tom that we will head over to the BoardWalk Deli at some point this evening and just crush like a cupcake in honor of the sheet cake that he had to end up canceling. But Tom, awesome that you thought of us in that manner. Thank you so much for your support and everything. So. But yeah, so we've talked poly news. What other kind of news? We had a couple things that we wanted to just kind of highlight that have gone on recently within the Disney Vacation Club space. I don't know if this is on your list or not, but one that I wanted to kind of highlight on was the question mark that is now sort of forming around Reflections, which has been in the news a lot this week because of some permitting activity that Disney has done. Basically, Imagineering has asked for an extension on some permits that they had associated with the construction of Reflections. And I wanted to defer to Phil on this one because he does have a lot of experience in kind of the construction industry a little bit. No?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. What's the question? What are we thinking?
What do you think Disney's thoughts are in getting these extensions for these permits?
I mean, I think that they want to at least reserve the ability to keep all their active building permits active and be able to do this project should the funding come through. I think a lot of their timeline is going to be predicated on the success of the sales of the new Island Tower and how they can shift and move those points. But I mean, they wouldn't do it for no reason. There's costs, there's internal administrative costs, and obviously external permit fees associated with this. We all know Disney does not spend a dime without a reason behind the madness of what they're doing. So all signs point to right now at least an extension of the idea of moving forward with that project. That's my opinion. I have absolutely no empirical evidence to back that up, other than a lifetime of construction experience.
Didn't they extend it to like 2029? I mean, it was a long extension, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was
wasn't
another,
just 2 years.
Yeah, it was like another 5-year extension or something.
Yeah, that'd be good. 2029.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so on the Reflections site, they have kept the construction fences up at Reflections ever since they started. But mainly, if you've seen any photos, like aerial photos or things like that have been taken of that area, there's one reason, and it's just very dangerous back there. They left like pipes just laying around. They left just a lot of stuff back there.
Yeah.
It shut down as a part of the pandemic, and right now it's a big question mark. But I think I agree kind of with what you said, Phil, which is that they're just kind of reserving and biding their time. And I think if it makes sense based off of how the existing properties sell, they'll kind of move in that direction.
Not to play devil's advocate, but do we think it's also maybe a hedge against their bets? I know the lawsuit with the governors kind of faded away, and they just basically their agreement was we're just going to go back in time to this point and leave it alone from there. maybe that was at that time and they want to just lock in what they've already got an agreement on.
Yeah.
With those permits kind of already been approved, they're just going to keep those, and why this other nonsense kind of fleshes itself out.
Could be, yeah. I mean, they at least know that they've got that done, and I would also go as far as saying they at least know that everything that they have is already drawn up. They have the framework and everything done. So I don't think it will be Reflections as we know it, but I think the general building will look a lot like Reflections, and so I think we will. I still bet that we'll probably learn more about that probably at D23 this year, with a thought of it opening in 2 to 3 years from now. Gives them plenty of time to sell the Poly. I was wrong about the Poly based off of the news that came out yesterday. I thought they were going to delay that until 2025.
Right.
December. We're close.
They moved it into this year.
Yeah.
So we don't know when in December.
December 31st. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, just based off of where the construction is right now, it looks like the interior of the building has still got it. So they got 6 months to finish this thing up. And Phil, we were talking about that last night a little bit. You thought maybe that could be due with like financing or something, or?
I don't really. I didn't plan on maybe extrapolating that far on the air, but I think that some of the things that I had mentioned to you were the bank is holding them to their end of the agreement potentially, that they need to get this closed up, get a certificate of occupancy, and start turning revenue over, which is why we see, even before they know what they're going to do with points, they're going to start accepting cash sales, and that is indicative to me of someone who is doing everything they can to start generating revenue out of this piece of property. We took a trip over. If you walk up the steps of the Fiji building, the exterior, and look over the construction wall, you can see very clearly that they've cut some corners with the design of the pool. It's supposed to be a 2-tiered pool with sort of a waterfall feature along the outside banded edge. And that has clearly gone away. It's just going to be a single story, very standard pool.
Very small.
I believe that the exterior pergola, which is either going to be a component of that restaurant or some sort of seating area that overlooks the pool. I believe that they reduced that in size fairly drastically. And they've gone so hard at the construction. Everything to me is saying their financial partner is telling them to get their stuff together and get them some money coming back in. So that was my thought on it.
Yeah, and that's felt like the theme with DVC and Disney in general ever since things have kind of restarted and Iger's taken back over. It's all about how do we get money and keep money and get that cash flow positive again. We talked about that when we were canceling our treasure cruise recently. It was like pulling teeth. They were like, "Do you want to reschedule it right now?" Like,
this moment.
No, I'd like my money back.
Right.
There definitely, I think there was maybe some messaging that was given to them, which is to kind of question, why are you canceling? Why can't we move this down the road or something like that?
Does that mean a lot of people are canceling that specific ship?
I think they just don't want to lose any dollars possible. I mean, they're gonna have to do their quarterly report, and if they don't get that last flux, like I was talking about, if they don't get that last influx of cash for that portion of that loan, they're going to have to report some sort of loss or loss of projected revenue because of that. So, and they don't want to lose a single dime.
Yeah, and parks have been saving the bottom line, so to speak, for the last several years. And if the treasure isn't selling well and cabins at Fort Wilderness isn't selling well, that's something they don't want to answer for, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree.
The best comment in the whole chat right now, I don't know who the Woodward Adventures are, but could they pivot and stack the cabins at Fort Wilderness and make a tower? Yes. That would look amazing.
That's fantastic.
If they found a way, I'm sure they would.
Think of how many towers they could put.
And now it reminds me of like the movie and the book Ready Player One, where they legit do that.
Oh, it looks like that. It would literally look like those same,
Perfect.
Now we need
shipping
totem pole
containers.
towers.
Right.
Yeah, totem pole towers. That'd be
like
Totem
self.
pole tower.
Don't give them ideas.
Bridges connecting them.
They have to in some degree be looking at those cabins still and going, what went wrong? What did we do wrong? But we'll know more when they open. Speaking of opening, we did not get an official opening date for the Polynesian. I know we kind of breezed over that, but we did know that the basically you can start booking them for cash coming up in June. So early June is going to be cash bookings for any
June.
existing.
Oh my goodness, I can't remember the date.
I think it was
Right.
June 3rd.
5, 4, 3rd?
5,
Yeah,
6,
I think it's 3
It starts
for.
out 3, yes.
Mary is right. It is 3 for DVC members, 4th for annual pass holders,
Annual pass holders, and then
5th for the
general,
public.
right.
We've been getting a lot of questions about that, and Paul, who just dropped something, a lot of people are disappointed that we know about cash sales first, and we don't know about when we're going to book with points, and is that going to affect DVC members to be able to book with their points? It should be different inventories, so the cash sales should be coming from any inventory that's not been declared into the association yet. So it really shouldn't affect your ability to get, to get a room with points. That's going to be totally affected on what they declare, how fast they declare in the association. I think with Riviera, did they declare like 50% at one point and then 50% later, or was it smaller chunks?
I thought it was
they're
smaller
still
chunks.
declaring
Okay.
smaller chunks.
Okay, so it's smaller chunks at a time. Because once they declare, they're kind of responsible for all those dues of what they declared. So they're going to start out with what they think they're going to sell, in a certain amount of time. I do think there's a lot of people like kind of waiting on the edge of their seats to buy direct. So I do think they're probably going to declare maybe a decent amount.
like Phil.
We've got Phil over here waving his hand. He's just ready to go.
Take my money.
So, and your wife's going to come in very soon, so we're going to see what she thinks about that. But that should not affect you. They did the same thing with the cabins. They did the same thing with the Disneyland Tower. It didn't really affect those who own there. Now, at the 7-month window, probably going to be hard, but I think that's going to be the case anyway.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that if you had to ask Disney Vacation Club internally, this is kind of part of their business model moving forward. Because remember that any points that they have in inventory that they've not sold, they essentially are renting as cash reservations. So they are the biggest renter. I have members come to me all the time saying, is it legal for me? Does Disney care if I'm renting my points? Disney is the biggest renter of points because they make considerable income by doing so and renting those rooms for the crazy cash rates that they charge.
And I like how they're calling it like it is now. They're calling them rentals.
They are calling them rentals officially. And I have to probably question and guess. And, I saw Ryan mention in the comments a second ago, the Fort Wilderness cabins probably occurred due to the fact that they were trying to save money on insurance and a variety of other things. But, the savings that they get there paired with the fact that they know these things sell out always in terms of rentals or in terms of cash bookings, maybe this is part of the plan. Maybe we're reading it all wrong. And, this is kind of what they're thinking about with Fort Wilderness is that long-term game. It's what they're thinking about with the Disneyland Hotel Tower is part of that long-term game. And with Poly, they might bide their time in terms of declaring. Like, part of me said the other day, it feels so long ago, yesterday, that maybe they won't declare anything until the first of the year so that they can get through the busy holiday season and know that they can book that tower up for cash reservations, because they shouldn't have a problem filling that with cash reservations in the December time frame. Phil?
I had a question for you guys as owners of the Polynesian. Does it annoy you that cash customers are going to have access to this property that's part of your condo association before you could utilize your points there?
I've personally heard several people make that reference. It does not bother me because essentially I'm not paying for it until it gets declared. So it's not like it's not really becoming a part of the association until they declare anything. And, kind of reading the rule book as it is, Disney has every right to do whatever they want with that property until they do declare it into the association. So it may be some time before they do so. I'm not upset about it. We'll probably book a cash reservation opening day. And also, keep in mind, and I don't want to say this to just say this, but, we bought at Poly at the right time at a great price. And if everything had gone south and we had learned that it was going to be a new association, I would still be very happy with the price we bought Poly at.
Yes.
And I'd
You
still
should
be
be,
very
yeah.
happy to own at the Polynesian because it's the type of rooms that we stay in. It's
Mhm.
deluxe studios. It's some of the you were just there.
Yeah.
You absolutely love the split bathroom concept and everything. They are beautiful deluxe studios in their own right. So I am not going to be upset, if this had played out any differently. But luckily it didn't. So.
Okay, we've been getting some really good questions, but somebody asked, Aaron Ward, do you think when the new Poly Tower opens, the studio points per night will reduce? So basically, just in general, like, what do you guys think is going to happen with the point charts? So we already have the point charts in place for, Poly. We know what the studios are out till what? We only have point charts to, do we have 2025 already? Yeah,
Yes.
so we know what the 2025 point charts look like for the current studios. I can see the tower, the studios, the deluxe studios in the tower being maybe a little more based on like view, right? Because we're gonna have ones that are actually theme park view.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
maybe compare that
Right.
to the cost of those theme park views at Big Pine Key, which those get really high. Some of those studios are very expensive during Christmas. And then we've got, if it's maybe too low to see the park, maybe, it's lagoon view. And that's an expensive view category, over at Grand Floridian, or lake view over at the Poly. On the other side, that could be standard view, yeah, but like it's not bad. You're going to be looking at the monorail,
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that they have the opportunity to have a decent point chart, but I don't think it's gonna it's gonna be in line with Grand Floridian, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, except for those penthouses.
Penthouses.
Yeah, we don't know what those are gonna look like, but those I think are gonna be like the highest, obviously.
Do you think they'll be higher than the bungalows?
I think they're either gonna be. Well, that's a good question, Mary. Because they are 2 bedrooms, just like the bungalows.
Bungalows, right.
I'm thinking because it's a penthouse and you're way up there and you're going to be able to see the fireworks and stuff. I bet we're going to see similar to the
Well,
bungalows.
you can see the fireworks from the bungalows.
Yeah, I bet we're going to see similar points.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
other part of this too is whether or not they do any rebalancing as part of the new point chart adjustments. So they do have within their ability to essentially rebalance the point charts, so pool points that they have currently associated with bungalows into the deluxe studios and into the tower. So that is a better question that I have, is whether or not we see the deluxe studio price per night go up as a part of the rebalancing that they do here in these rooms.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer to that. I assume that they will do a little bit because they always love to kind of tinker with that and everything. But,
What do you estimate that the cash price will be
for
a night? I mean, anybody got any feelings of how much
If-
they're gonna?
I mean, if you go based off of what when the new Disneyland hotel tower opened, those were going upwards of $900 per night for the
Wow.
deluxe studio accommodations when they first opened. So
Just
I'd
for the
expect
studios,
just
so
for the
you figure the
studios.
ones and
So,
twos,
even higher.
Right.
So they know that they'll be able to book them and probably sell them out. So
Yeah.
I think they'll do that. Yeah. What else?
I had written you a note. I asked if you wanted to swap anyone out, and I said I could move.
You can swap out whoever you want.
Yeah, I'm going to bring Pauline over, and she's going to sit here
Okay.
instead of me.
There was someone
Pauline,
that
come
brought
join
up.
us.
Pauline had some really.
Do you want me to just get out?
No.
Whatever.
No.
Get
stay
out.
there.
We can all take a turn getting out.
Amy wants a break.
Pauline had some. I want something to drink and I have to go use the restroom. And Pauline has some really good, she was talking about the tower today and some of the concept art and stuff. And I don't know. I just want her to talk about it. So I'm gonna move, and Pauline's gonna come in.
Can I do a shout out really quick?
Shout
I know
out,
there's,
man.
There's 2 things that I noticed.
Shout away.
Amber Clark is watching from Prince Edward Island, PEI,
Oh.
Canada. Amber,
Oh,
I'm
wow.
Canadian. Glad you're watching. And then there's also somebody watching from the UK.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
So
Yeah.
pretty
We love our
interesting.
international
Glad-
friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
glad
Yeah.
everybody's
We've
watching.
gone international.
I know.
Global, if you will.
Love that for us.
Global. There you go. That sounds better. Globally known.
Pauline Murphy joining us now. Wonderful to have you. Happy birthday. Everyone wish
Aw.
Pauline happy birthday. That was the original plan for this entire weekend, and then I totally hijacked it with this event. When you stumble upon a grand villa opportunity, you take advantage of it, I think.
course.
But yeah, how's your week going?
It's going great. I got a little sunburned at the pool today, but we're making it work.
Yeah, that's the fun of it all.
Yeah.
We went down and hung out at the pool for a while, and just enjoying being around the boardwalk today. We saw Tim Tracker at the pool, so he's going to probably do a boardwalk video soon, in case any of you are Tim Tracker fans out there. But tell us your thoughts on the Polynesian. That's kind of been what we've been mainly talking about so far.
Yeah, I've been listening while I was doing my hair.
Oh, okay.
I heard you speak about the pool. That's one of my hot takes. Is I was really excited for the pool to be sort of that like 2-layered like Alani, and it doesn't seem like that's gonna take place now. So
budget cuts.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
So, but third pool at the Poly in general, and they have some really great pools already. So excited to see what it looks like when it's finally done. My other piece is I really hope they have a quick service. Actually, a couple options.
Yes.
Super easy if they do. I'm just taking these from Alani. They need to bring them here. But the poke bowl in the afternoon and the acai bowl in the morning, I feel like that's a really easy thing for them to add in and would be a fan favorite. And then the shave ice, I think, is another easy thing they could do by the pool. And I mean, that's such an Instagrammable treat that's actually really delicious.
Yeah.
So they really need to bring it here for us.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday, and Pauline and I agreed also that there's like that little coffee place right outside of Kona in the current main building at the Polynesian. And I feel like that place has kind of always just been a wasted spot. It used to be, I think, a sushi spot. I'm not quite sure if it is still.
There's 2 rolls.
There's like two choices pre-made, but you can choose them. Plus whatever the cupcake of the month is, they always have that there. But like, why don't that's another like easy win? Like turn that into like a poke place. Phil's over here just like, yes, please.
Either that or just like hawk the noodles and pot stickers from Ohio. Get those going out of that little thing, and I'll be there if anyone ever wants to see me. That's where I'll be living, and it'll be fun.
Yeah. So, Those were your Poly thoughts?
Yep, and I right there with you. You know, why do I need 10 cupcake options when I have pineapple lanai downstairs? I want to know what their sales are like of those cupcakes up there, because why would you even go there?
I feel like so many of them have to just go stale eventually and never get eaten. But I say that and yet now I oddly want a cupcake. So be it.
Well, we almost had a cake from Tom.
Oh yeah. I said, I'm sorry, Tom. I said no to the cake, but yeah. So we've talked about the Polynesian. We talked a little bit about the Reflections project. Any thoughts on that?
You know, it's funny. You guys were talking about the Poly Tower sort of reflecting some of the original designs.
Oh yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the original hotel designs on the monorail loop, like around the lake. So there's a couple different resort styles that don't currently exist that I would love to see them sort of reimagine, and Reflections is not one of them. So I would love to see them maybe take that space and do something that's a little more of a nod to some of those original designs they had.
Erin said she's going to bring cake pops for us next time, so yeah, that'll be awesome. So cake pops are easily transportable as compared to a sheet cake, so we should have gone that route, Tom. I should have suggested something different. I'm the failure. So.
Love cake pops.
Amy from across the way is so excited about cake pops now. So thank you, Erin. We're
Cake
very
pops and sandwiches for that one over
yeah.
there.
Cake pops and sandwiches all day long. So we talked about Reflections a little bit. We talked about the cabins at Fort Wilderness. Amy, what else was on your list for news that we needed to talk about, or anything that DisneylandForward? That's a great one. Amy sent out this amazing email to our entire team of people that were going to be here.
I read
None
it.
of us read
We
it.
read it anyway.
Okay.
Skimmed it.
Dan, yeah, we did not. Dan, tell us about the email, please.
The email. So we kind of the thing that we focused on this morning was DisneylandForward, and sort of what I understood it as a way of sort of revamping their existing properties, not really building much new, just likely because of the space limit that they have there. But one thing that was quite shocking is that it's a 40-year plan, 40.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna hold this up to him like this.
Oh, is it? Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, 40-year. That's quite a vision. So just kind of interesting to think they're gonna.
You said 40?
40.
Oh, I might not even be alive for some of that.
I know. I'll be in my 80s. Yeah, right. Yeah. So just I mean, that's like super ambitious. I think it's pretty cool that designers kind of can think into that far into the future. But what else did they talk about? Just kind of like redoing. It kind of made it seem like they were redoing all of it. Like they were gonna redo everything.
Just gut it all
and
call it a day.
and update it.
It needs it. It needs it.
Well, what I'm excited for about
We've only
Disneyland-
been there once, so I can't speak at all to what. it
Yeah,
is,
and
but-
conversely, that was my home park. We
Oh.
went there
Oh,
3
yeah,
times a
yeah.
year for 25 years,
Yeah.
And so what I'm excited about is if the plan, and with Disney, the plans are never what actually happens, right? But what they've put out there as this is what we're thinking about is really exciting to me because if it moves forward like it's supposed to, those hotels, the Disneyland Hotel, what are they calling it now? The Pixar Place Hotel, will be within the parks eventually if that all goes according to plan to be able to enter and exit right into the park
Oh, wow.
as one of the
That's
plans
nice.
that they've kind of put forth. And so I think that's really cool. That's something that we still don't have here in Florida. Like there isn't a single hotel that exits right into one of the parks. And I just think that's people love that at Grand Cal. In fact, I don't know if you want me to talk about this now or if you want to wait till another show, but my friends just went and had like the perfect DVC experience.
Oh, yeah, no, tell us.
And I think Tracy's actually watching. Hi, Tracy. Our friends Tracy and Rob surprised their kids. They were kind of the people that wanted to stay at the Grand California but could never afford it. But then they just recently bought DVC, largely because of what we do and interacting with us. And they surprised their kids. They flew them out there. They told them they were staying at the Marriott, but they'd actually put in a wait list months ago for the Grand Cal for 4 nights that actually came through.
Wow.
That never happens.
No.
So they got notified a few days before. They didn't tell the kids. They pulled into the parking lot. The girls started crying. Are we really staying here? They upgraded them to a theme park view room, so they got to watch World of Color and everything. Right, like it was. Sometimes I feel like we're a little hard on DVC. We get cynical in our old age, but that's what DVC was always for me, and I'm so happy for them that they got that experience because it just everything lined up perfectly for them. So that's what DVC can bring, and I think we don't talk about that as much.
No, it's cool to also hear just that the thing that puts people over the top of the purchasing process and makes them, because I know you've been talking to her about buying for.
It's been a while, yeah. Well, you guys met him one night at Top of the World Lounge.
We met him at Top of the World Lounge, and then I remember when we were doing Moonlight Magic at Animal Kingdom, you were like sending her voice messages. She was asking you questions about Disney Vacation Club, and here we are walking around Animal Kingdom Moonlight Magic, and Jeff's still trying to sell her.
They're trying to decide whether direct is right for them and how much they're missing out on with the FOMO for that. So.
But go back to Disneyland Forward. As Dan said, it is a 40-year project, which is crazy. And I believe within the first 5 years, they're committing to spending around $9 billion. Correct me if I'm wrong on that number, but it's a rather large amount of money that they plan to spend at Disneyland. And one thing that we know for certain, based off of a lot of conversations that were had throughout the early parts of this and in the public forums with the city of Anaheim, is that they do have a plan for Disney Vacation Club. They were very adamant in making sure that they could expand the number of units that they could build that were timeshare units in the city of Anaheim as part of this. So they built that into this agreement, as well as basically stating that any timeshare units that were built would be bound to whatever the current transient occupancy tax rate is. So exactly what we saw with the Disneyland Hotel Tower when it went to DVC. That transient occupancy tax is going to continue with any future properties. This should not affect Grand Californian, as that was kind of grandfathered into an old plan. But Disney kind of does this, Dan, to your point about the 40 years, I think Disney really strategically does this at times when they know that the politics or the government is in their favor. And they've had a rocky roller coaster ride with the city of Anaheim over the years. There's been times where they've been on their side. There's been times when they've when it's not. And so they definitely have a strong vision for what the future of the parks look like at Disneyland. You recently took your first trip to Disneyland, or second?
Yes.
Yeah. So did you guys love it?
So our first trip, the weather was just not ideal. But the second one, I spent 2 days there, and I really enjoyed it. You know, kind of to speak to your note about them putting all of the hotels inside the park. I love that idea. I feel like that's very representative of the quaintness I felt at Disneyland. And while that would be so cool here at Disney World, I feel like the identity of Disney World is completely different.
It's true.
It doesn't really have that. So I'm excited to see how they, with all these changes that they want to make, they still hold that true identity of that quaintness and that original feel of Disneyland, it's imperative.
Yeah, that's the way the article seemed. Was like they're making big changes, and there's a lot of classic stuff at Disneyland. Now, again, I've only been there once, but I've heard obviously all the classic and seen some of it. But the article that you wrote, Amy, made it seem like they are redoing a huge chunk of it, which is it makes eyebrows go up, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Mary, have you been to Disneyland?
I took one trip out in 2018. I brought a couple of young girls that I was close to that I took out there. We had one day.
Okay. More of a Disney World fan, though?
It definitely, yes, yeah.
So, well, Mary, I'm going to have you swap out with someone else here in a second.
Absolutely.
But tell us just a little bit about your vacation so far. How's it been?
It's been fantastic. I got here on the 6th, and I'm here until the 18th. So.
And you came from where?
Massachusetts.
You live in Mass. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Mary,
Yeah, so
Mary, for those of you that aren't familiar, which you all should be familiar with her, if you're in any of the DVC fan groups on Facebook or any of the groups on Facebook, Mary puts basically reports of every single day of her trip, and she meets so many amazing people. I think she's more famous than we are, and I don't even describe myself as famous because this is like. People forget this is like a small niche community. Like us Disney Vacation Club people, we are a small niche community. Amy and I used to vacation in Wildwood, New Jersey all the time, and we started following a vlogger the other day that films and records stuff in Wildwood, New Jersey, and he gets more views and follows than we do. And so it's like, it just tells you like how many followers there are. But like everyone knows Mary, you meet so many friends.
Well, I just got treated to lunch yesterday by two sisters that grew up in Massachusetts. They sent me a text and says, "You don't know us, but we'd like to treat you to lunch." So I said, "Okay."
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
so hi to Susan and Michelle.
Well, Mary, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
It's a great time to spend time with you. I know you've got breakfast or lunch coming up with Derek next week at some point?
Yes, and Tom's going to join us.
Oh,
it's actually on Tom's birthday.
Well,
So we're
maybe
gonna have
Tom will
breakfast
bring the sheet cake then.
Maybe that's when we'll get the sheet cake. It'll
Maybe
be delicious for breakfast.
I will have Derek bring a sheet cake for Tom, maybe, and maybe we can figure that out or something. But tell Derek we said hi. I feel like you get to see him more than we do in person. We always try to
he's great about getting together when I'm down here.
We always try to
with
make
you. He never gets together with
Yeah,
us.
Yeah, we invite him to so many things, and,
And he just doesn't show his excuses now.
Something going on.
Well, thank you all.
Thank you, Mary.
Thanks for being here.
Appreciate
Oh,
it.
my pleasure.
Phil and Pauline, tell us a little bit about your trip. How's it been so far? Any pluses? Any minuses?
Camera at the same time.
You can.
Yeah, let's switch.
Okay, we're doing a switcherooski here. While we're switching around here, welcome Jeff to the table as well. Nice shirt, Jeff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This close enough, Amy?
Yeah, she's hard.
It's better.
You
It's
go
better.
to the south and dance.
Oh,
Oh.
always carries.
Okay, that's how
Hard
we're
on the
gonna handle
micros.
this. Wow.
That's how
Or
we're
as
okay.
what I love is also Panda left without saying goodbye to anyone.
Irish goodbye.
He did.
Nothing.
He said goodbye to me.
Okay. He said goodbye to Mary. He said goodbye to Amy, and now he's in the chat. So it's
Panda, don't drive in text.
guessing Mark's driving. So, but
Oh, then that's okay.
that's okay. Text away. But yeah, no. So Phil and Pauline originally. Well, I let me preface this. Phil originally messaged me probably 8 months ago. I don't even remember how long ago this was. Messaged me privately and said, "Hey, I'm planning a surprise birthday trip for Pauline. Mark this date on your calendar." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Like, yeah, we'll definitely do something." And So like a couple weeks go by and stuff happens, and then Jeff, I think it was you that I was texting with one day, and you go,
Probably.
yeah, and you were like, did you hear about Pauline's party? And I said, yeah, did you hear about Pauline's party? So no one knew who actually knew about the surprise trip. Everyone was. We pieced it all together slowly.
But then wasn't there a group text
message
At
that
some
she was a
point.
part of
Yeah.
that
Yes.
it mentioned the whole thing that was still a surprise.
Yes, and so
As far
then
as
we
we knew.
realized.
As far as we knew.
it was still a surprise.
We realized that it was not a surprise. The moral of the story is if you are having a surprise party and you want to hire someone to plan it, please send a message to Phil Murphy. And he will do an amazing job for it. The thought is all that matters, Phil. And you did wonderful. We did have a wonderful time last night. We went to Shula's, although I keep trying to call it Ditka's for some reason.
Wrong coach.
Wrong
football
coach.
team.
But we had a good birthday party last night for Pauline, and we've celebrated it all weekend long. And it was no longer a surprise. And then I hijacked it with DVC SummerFest. So all of that happened. But we're happy to have you guys here. And tell us a little bit about your vacation so far. What have you done? What DVC resorts have you stayed at? What did you like, not like? Anything controversial? We love controversial stuff.
Oh yeah, we're all about the controversy. Well, we ended up actually extending a day on the early part of our trip because our flights were so much cheaper. So, pull my leg. I guess we'll have to extend a day. And we couldn't get the BoardWalk, so we stayed at the Poly, which I was very excited to. We actually honeymooned there, so we've never stayed on the DVC side, only the hotel side. And that was really nice. That was, I don't know, maybe our favorite day. But we didn't even go into the parks. We just enjoyed the resorts. We had a full DVC day. We went to Darkoozies for dinner, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So, and really from there, we moved over to the BoardWalk. I was not excited to be at the BoardWalk, if we're being honest, for the pictures and things I've seen online. But I was pleasantly surprised going into our one bedroom. I think you would agree with that, correct?
Absolutely. My hot take that I'm not going to address at all is that I hate Disneyland and it sucks. But to get back to our conversation, I'll fight all of you.
It'll take all of us, but we'll win.
Holy cow.
Nothing worth doing is without sacrifice. Jeff.
That was real deep.
Yeah, no, but anyway, so we were, I mushed and again, the guy who hates Disneyland also can't even do a simple surprise birthday trip for his wife, so take it with a grain of salt,
There's no problem with that, though, because if you ask anyone at this table, you will realize that also I'm terrible with surprises for my wife. I have tried to surprise her. I actually tried to surprise her with a Disneyland trip one time, and I booked it, and then I was like, oh, this is going to be a surprise. It's, no one's going to know about it. And that night, literally just getting ready for bed, standing in the bedroom, I go, we're going to Disneyland. And there was, like, I'm just terrible. Our Christmas presents are lucky if they last until Christmas with each other as well. It's just like we buy something and it's like we want to give it right away. It's like
You've never surprised me with a trip to Disneyland.
Wait till the end of the show, Jeff.
Did I just
I'm surprising Phil with one too, and he doesn't know it.
Oh, great.
He's gonna absolutely love it. So, but yeah, you guys, you're in a remodeled. We're gonna have a video up soon. You're in a remodeled one bedroom, and like the room.
Love it. It's been great. Actually, I don't love it. That's a lie. That was a lie. It just seems like the appropriate thing to say.
It's
but
like a Disneyland too.
yeah, I don't love it all that much. It's much better than I was expecting. But the bathroom layout with all the weird doors is chaotic. I hate the way that they took so much of the spirit of the color out of the inside of the rooms as compared to what the rooms used to be. It's still a charming little room, but it's probably the least favorite of any DVC room I've ever been in. So I would say that that's the truthful answer. Much better than I was expecting, but not my favorite by any stretch of the imagination. I feel like it was very cheaply put together. Not a whole lot of thought went into it. They put some cool little artwork on the wall, painted it gray, and said, good job, and let themselves out.
On Mary's last trip here, Mary was wonderful enough to let us film her deluxe studio. And the one thing that I would say in just comparing the studio to the one bedroom is that a lot of, I think, our complaints, me, Amy, Mary, that we expressed kind of in that video was that just the lack of the colors and the lack of the character of the boardwalk. There's definitely a little bit more
Yes,
of
a lot
that,
more color.
injected into your room.
I agree.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll say is we chose the boardwalk to go to Flower and Garden, which is our favorite festival. So it's been hot, so we've gone as much as we can handle. But I will. This is my hot take. I would feel personally like the Riviera is like closer, quote unquote, because I think for me, you're walking all day in the parks. I want to keep my walking to a minimum. Walking to the Skyliner, getting on the Skyliner, and then you're right there at the port of entry versus we're on the DVC side of the boardwalk. It is a little bit further of a walk to get to Epcot. So that would be maybe my hot take of our stay here.
Yeah. I even screwed the resort up. I just I'm gonna hash this. Never
I
again.
had a great birthday.
Never again.
Oh no.
First and last.
Just someone that joined you in the Disneyland hate, Phil. Brian said, "I don't hate it, but I definitely don't care about it very much. I don't watch Disneyland resort centric videos or shows." Agree, Phil. So there you go. You've got a fan club of one, Phil. The thing I would say that I agree with Brian about, though, and a lot of people go, why don't we do more Disneyland content or more West Coast content? And again, it is just when you look at the Disney Vacation Club demographic, it is much larger here in Disney World. So we do try to balance our content a little bit, basically on that same level. We covered Hilton Head this year. We covered Vero Beach a little bit last year. We still have a video about Vero Beach that we filmed last year that we haven't published yet, or I've not put together. But we do try to balance it as much as we can, and we do plan to talk a lot about DisneylandForward in the future. But that is kind of the conversation when it comes to Disneyland, is that it's great. We all love it. It's going to continue to grow, and it's going to get more. Everyone loves it, but Phil, he's over there just shaking his head no. But it is going to get more love in the future. But that's one of the key reasons why you don't see us maybe talking about it as much. So
There's 14 here or 15 DVC resorts here in world.
There's a total of 17 now when you include just of all the properties here. Yes, I think you're right. Like 14,
and then maybe then Poly Tower will be sort of 15, maybe.
No, because it's part of the same
I know it's
association.
part. Yeah.
Why?
Okay, all right.
Dan, get up.
I'm sorry.
That's it for Dan, ladies and gentlemen. He's out for the day.
My real thought was 14 before Riviera was built. I thought it was 14, so maybe Riviera was a 15. Somebody will correct us in the chat. I'm sure.
There are
Somebody
too
has
many
the
now
answer.
for me to count, and I'm an hour and a half into a live stream, and my brain is fried. Amy's pulled up a chair to
I
the.
am. Listen, I figured I
Yes.
have a big enough mouth that
We can't
I can
see
just
you.
You got that
You don't
right.
need to
If
see
you guys
me.
all
I'm a
squish the
scout.
chairs together,
why can't we squish in?
create like a mega bench
All right.
with the chairs.
I'm going to keep my
So-
microphone because I have been microphone shamed hard by Amy, so I'm going
Yeah.
to keep mine here.
We still don't have her in here.
We're fine. I'm in here. Wait, let's see. Am I in now?
No.
No.
It's delayed.
It's delayed, so you can't
Oh,
tell.
shoot.
You
She's
this is
scooching in right
listen.
now, guys.
This is my good side. So
People-
where's the camera at?
people-
I'll have to turn
People
this
see
way.
enough of us. They want to see Jeff and Dan. So, oh nope, we're still shifting.
We're good.
I hope you guys enjoy this part of the musical chairs episode of DVC.
Okay, I do want to say this. Am I in the camera?
Yes,
Can
you
you
are.
see me?
You
Okay.
are. Just make sure you're talking to the microphone.
We've had a lot of people in the chat asking about the DVC fan merchandise, and including some really great comments. I need a DVC fan shirt, like I need air to breathe. So, Mikey, I've got you covered, buddy. So I did post that link, and I think Lauren De La Cruz also did, so you'll find it twice in the chat, so just scroll up. If you lose sight of it, go to dvcfan.com, click on support us, and that will be one of the options to purchase merchandise. So breathe on, buddy.
Breathe on, buddy.
Is that really why we did the whole musical chairs? Is just for that? Like,
Listen,
I think it was worth it.
I think
Let's
so.
be honest.
It was.
Breathe on, buddy.
I mean,
is a legendary
that's awesome.
quote.
That's gonna go right
Yeah,
under
we're
the
gonna
song
make
in the
sure.
lobby.
my
We're
phone
gonna
has
make
dinged
some
30
koozies.
times in the last couple of seconds, so people are obviously buying the shirts from that amazing plug.
right,
But,
see?
Koozies, here it comes. Breathe
we-
on, buddy.
We've also always said if anyone wants to help us design shirts, let us know. We're always in the market for that. So we're it's one of those things also where it's kind of like you got to be delicate in how you do it because of Disney. So like if we've always said it would be fun to do like a resort series, but if you do a resort series, you can't use the technical names of the resorts. So it makes it difficult when it comes to shirts. People still do it, and Disney sue them all the time. But
we
so
don't want to get sued.
we don't want to get sued.
We have no money.
We do not have any money. Yeah. This is a bare bones operation, folks. Amy is answering Monera calls as we speak. That's why she had to run out. We are the world of DVC. But no, there's a whole lot of people that actually help us make a lot of this happen behind the scenes. Actually, quick shout out to Mandy, Josh, and their girls. They were supposed to join us this weekend in the Grand Villa, but unfortunately they weren't able to make it. They're in the process of moving and all kinds of other fun stuff. So hello to you all, and we wish you were here.
I don't wish you were here because I got to stay here because you didn't come. So thank you for that.
So it's mixed
And I'm
feelings.
sure.
And Phil hates Disneyland. So there you go. But let's talk a little bit. I know we've kind of brushed over the Grand Villa a little bit, but let's just talk about our experience here in the Grand Villa. So this was provided to us by the World of DVC for the weekend. We wish we could host people here. I think I mentioned that before, but again, we want to follow Disney's rules when it comes to meetups and those type of things and occupancy rules for a villa. But
I want to get Amy in here too, since she's
Have her take my spot.
stayed
I've been
here
on long
a
enough.
night.
Can anyone take my spot,
Come
please?
sit, take my spot.
There's too many
Okay.
buttons that have to be pushed in your
Yeah.
spot.
There
so
are
no-
too many
no
buttons.
one can
There's
take
a lot
your
of buttons
spot.
being
Paul.
pushed.
Our viewership's back.
Sorry.
Yeah, we have started running tests with our thumbnails, and we realized when we put Amy and Amy together in a thumbnail, we get a lot more views. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
This is Jeff's Amy. That's my Amy
Hello.
over there. So we both have Amy's, and we have nicknames for each other so we don't confuse each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, how's your stay in the Grand Villa there?
It's been really great so far. I didn't stay here before the refurb, so I'm coming in with like probably not a good comparison, like what it was. Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I did.
We came once.
She doesn't remember.
Not in a,
It
not
It
in
was
a
not
Grand Villa.
memorable for her, Jeff.
I guess it wasn't that memorable, but I will tell you that I'm a big fan of like light and bright and the whites and grays and stuff. Like that's how I like to decorate. So I really like the decorations. I like the feel of it. I wish there was more artwork like on some of the bigger walls where they do have pictures. They are very cute. It's very Disney, but it could use a little more color.
You were mentioning this morning it was pretty loud last night.
The board, yeah. So, and I think it was a lot of people leaving maybe jelly rolls or
So that'll
the
be us
dance
tonight.
hall.
We'll be the
or,
loud ones
yeah.
tonight. Yeah.
And we also picked the room upstairs that has the balcony. So I don't know if we got a little more sound because of having that balcony. It was a little louder. But yeah, a little loud on the boardwalk, but I like the view, so I'll take the view.
Yeah, it's a give and take with the boardwalk view. We've always felt the same way when it comes to here. It can be a little bit louder of a building, but definitely worth the views. And if we will probably not be around for fireworks tonight either. But I bet we've probably got a very, very nice fireworks view from where we're at.
Yeah.
So
You can also see Magic Kingdom ones.
really,
Yes.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mary said that you could see Magic Kingdom ones from here as well. So yeah.
Well, and I think Jeff talked about this too. The room we're in has, I don't even know if you can call it a balcony, a second balcony. It just overlooks like the living room
the
area.
Juliet into the living room.
But it's like
no privacy.
there's enough space to just like go barely stand out there and like maybe like if a pulley system, like I need a drink.
Jeff
just
opened the
send
doors
one up.
this morning and announced, "I'm ready
Yeah.
for breakfast.
And,
Where's my coffee?"
and there's
the
no
finest baggers in the land.
and there's no way to like cover those glass doors. And so if you're walking around getting ready up there, you just have to be careful no one's walking up the stairs.
Yeah.
Because you might give them a show.
Yeah.
But
I'm
Yeah.
fine with that.
you Dan wishes he had that room because he would do it on purpose, probably.
We've enjoyed it. It is weird having the 2-story Grand Villa. I think it would be cool to compare it to like a 1-story Grand Villa. I kind of echo the sentiment of, and we put together, we're going to have like a vlog that kind of just overviews the entire weekend, but we said it a little bit yesterday on that, so make sure you watch that. But it kind of reminds me of the deluxe studio where I think you could have injected some more color into here and made it a little bit better. And just the 2-bedroom is just such a weird, the 2-story is just such a weird setup because you lose so much. You were talking about that.
The
Amy,
layout's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Yeah, I don't know if you can only see half of me or what's going on.
Just talking to the mic.
I'm just gonna
pick up the
pull
microphone.
You can adjust.
Oh, good. Okay, so here's the thing, and I was really hoping we would get the single story because it's a lot more grand and more spread out. In the living area is a lot larger, and I don't know, it's just a better space. The things that are not great about the 2-story, and there's only 2 of them. So we played roulette and we lost. There's 5 1-story and 2 singles, or 2 2-story. Yeah, 5 1-story, 2 2-story. Anyway, the master bedroom should not even be called, or a main bedroom. It does not even deserve that title. It has a king bed, yeah, but it's small, and there's no ensuite bathroom. You have to go out into the hallway, and then there's one bathroom that has the big sink and the bathtub. And then it's completely shut off from the other bathroom, which is also in the hallway, which has the toilet, the shower, and then a tiny little sink. So getting ready earlier, we had people out in the dining room, which is right by the bedroom. I'm getting ready, and I'm like, oh, I need to go back to my room and get something. Oh, I can't just walk in. I gotta be decent because everybody's out there. And so I had to keep going back and forth, and then getting ready in front of the big mirror and the big sink, and it's like, oh, I've got to go to the bathroom. I've got to leave the room and go out into go to the hallway to get to the other bathroom. So it's kind of a hot mess for whoever's staying in the main. That's also the only bathroom on the first floor. So if you have guests or friends or anyone hanging out on the first floor, they got to go to the bathroom in your main bathroom. It belongs to your bedroom, I guess. You know what I mean? The other thing is if you have someone that has mobility issues, there is no way to get to the 6th floor without just coming in here and going up the steps. There's no elevator that goes up to floor 6. So that would be an issue if you had mobility problems. And we really got the shaft on the laundry situation. The single-story Grand Villa has a actual big laundry room. We have a little closet, stacked washer dryer that you just open up, and it's in the closet at the end of the hallway on the 2nd floor. So if you're in the main bedroom downstairs, you have to drag all your laundry up the steps, around the corner. It's not my favorite layout at all. I would not pay the points for this Grand Villa. This 1-story, maybe, but not this one.
Now, I want to get the 2 other people sitting next to you's opinion because when I said this yesterday on camera, Dan specifically goes, I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm not the best judge of that because, to be honest, I haven't really looked into the details of all the rooms, but we've had really good experiences at BoardWalk. We were here in, early 20...
February of 21.
Yes, February of 21.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we stayed here one other time. This is our 3rd time, really. And we've had really good experiences. Even actually, we were in the hallway near where I think you guys are staying, sort of really far, more close to Hollywood Studios. And we really liked it. We actually really liked the location. There's a pool right outside. So we've had really good experiences. I really like the layout. I love the sort of wraparound staircase that's behind us. There is a little bit of wasted space, like the hallway upstairs is really long. I feel like I'm walking far across the entire room to get to where we're staying. And I've never been a big fan, and this is a big Florida thing for some reason, of a bedroom right off of main sort of entertainment areas. In our house, ours is right off our living room, and that's a big Florida sort of main bedroom on the, or master bedroom on the main level. Yeah. We came from Michigan, and that wasn't something that was too common. So I think the reason that there's no door that splits off this bathroom is because this is the only one on this level. So they have to have access to a bathroom on this level, and that's the only one. Yeah.
But it could. We talked about it yesterday. There could be a door there. There could be
a
pocket door. You could close it off so that when you were getting ready,
some privacy.
You could have closed it. Nobody would have known what was going on.
Yeah.
with
The
that.
kitchen is also kind of pathetically small for a grand villa.
It's smaller than
First
our one
world
bedroom.
problem. Yeah, it's smaller than the kitchen in Phil and Pauline's 1-bedroom villa.
But I have never heard someone react the way I heard Dan react when he pulled the dish tray out from underneath the kitchen sink. You were just...
I know. It's like this caddy that had like four things of dish soap and lots of towels that were rolled up and 4 sponges. You know, I'm used to like 1 soap and 1 sponge and 1 towel. And this was loaded for like the week. So I was like, oh, this is fantastic.
I want to be that excited about like things in villas. Like that, I'm gonna try that from now on.
Yeah, generally anything Disney will always impress me. I'm not a huge hard critic of Disney stuff unless I've looked into it and then I set my expectations too high. I actually like going into things with low expectations or not knowing. Clearly, you guys know, right? I don't want anything spoiled. So
Nothing ruined.
Nothing ruined. RUINT. Yep. So
Brian sparks an interesting question that I think we should kind of go around the room and answer since we are talking about grand villas. Nicest grand villa on Walt Disney World property. My vote is Riviera. Brian said, and I would probably agree with you, Brian. That is, in terms of the appointed nature of a grand villa, they definitely did that correct. It is absolutely beautiful, but my wife over here is shaking her head no, so she
Grand Floridian is the best grand villa on property. It is stunning. The windows overlooking the lake. It is every bit of it is so pretty. The bathroom in the master bedroom is so big. There is an entire chest of like it's like a china cabinet inside the toilet closet. Not just the bathroom. That's just in the toilet closet. So that's how grand it is.
The toilet closet. I've never even heard it called that.
What the
I don't know what else you call it. What is it? But
Phil,
it's like a separate room for the toilet.
Yeah.
So it's like
Phil and Pauline, I know you recently got to do this, and someone put this Micah Mizzle in the Micah Mizzle in the comments said Animal Kingdom large. Animal Kingdom Lodge is hard to beat. You guys recently had an opportunity to stay in a grand villa there. What was your experience?
We did. I mean, we were a little nervous when we first got there because we were all the way at the end, but somehow we probably got the best animal savannah view ever. There was giraffe, zebra, everything just lingered around our room. It was really magical. Like the room is incredible. It really does need an update. You can see some wear and tear. So I would almost say I would wait for a refurb to see how much more amazing it will be.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely wouldn't say it's the best on property. It's the only one that I've ever stayed in. This is the second grand villa I've ever been in. But I know what the Riviera Grand. Actually, we took a tour of the Riviera
You've
Grand
been in
Villa.
4 grand villas.
I've been in a couple. You're right, I have. Sorry, I'm dumb. But I would say Copper Creek, the Grand Villa, is easily nicer than Animal Kingdom. The Polynesians' version of what a Grand Villa is, I guess, in their overwater bungalows is much nicer. I would agree with the sentiment that the Riviera is the nicest, newest, most modern.
Yeah, right there.
However, if I had to pick any other one on property that I would think is the best, I would say Copper Creek for sure.
I need to see this Grand Floridian one though because this
It has a theater. It has a theater room in it.
I have a question. You were talking about Animal Kingdom rooms, right? Yeah. Has anyone noticed the fan blades? The fan blades are curved and they look like they're old and they're warping. Has anyone noticed this? I just had someone ask me about this and I'm like, I think that's on purpose. I don't think they're warped and falling. I think that's the way the fan is. Because every fan we've seen in all the rooms have all been warped, correct? Not warped, but like they're curved and they kind of hang down.
Like
I feel like they're just all.
Yeah,
really?
I mean, it desperately needs a refurbishment over there. So, and with Florida humidity, like I wouldn't be surprised if that is kind of what has happened to those fans.
All right.
I think they're taking ceiling fans out of refurbishments for that reason. Have you noticed they've been kind of
and I'm very upset about
leaving ceiling fans out of newer. Yeah.
If you're in Florida, you need a ceiling fan.
Yep.
Like it's just
correct.
And I would just shout out to this guy over here who helped me install all of my ceiling fans in my house. We only electrocuted ourselves once, maybe.
That's right. We did do that.
We did.
Was that during the 50th anniversary?
It was. We spent a day of our 50th anniversary trip down here. You came to my house and we installed 5 ceiling fans.
And Phil only needed to stand on like the second rung of the ladder.
That was a fun time. But yes, no, you're so right. The ceiling fans to circulate the air in these rooms is so necessary. And Disney is committed to both cost savings, cost cutting, and being efficient and trying to be as green as possible. And so they have these hyper efficient, very, very regulated air conditioning systems. You're not in your room for most of the day, most of the time, I would assume. So it gets very warm. Even when we're in the room constantly, it never gets as cool in the room as it does in the hallway here, it seems like. So having a fan to move some air around when it's already always typically hovering around 70 to 72 degrees in the room that we've been in at all times is very necessary, especially when it's 98 degrees out. You really need that respite. But again, that's a cost-cutting move. They can save themselves $250 per room by not putting a ceiling fan in.
Don said we literally ordered tabletop fans from Walmart our first day in our grand villa. So they made the decision to go that route. And Brian said that they're taking them out because they trigger the motion sensors Disney's putting in to turn off the air conditioning units when you're not in the room.
We have some fun little Mylar balloons in our room that I gifted to my wife, and they move around like waving inflatable inflating tube man, and they keep the air conditioning going for us.
Yep. So yeah, any other Grand Villa thoughts? No?
Somebody in the chat asked, their handle is Kayla Addict. So some of you guys got some interesting names. They asked if the grand or the only, let me rephrase this because I just lost the page. Are the tree houses the only non-Grand Villa rooms that are 3 bedrooms? And that is true. So tree houses are 3 bedrooms. 1 bedroom is like a twin bunk bed on top of each other. So it might not be the greatest bedroom option, but it is a 3 bedroom. And that is like the only 3 bedroom DVC that's not like a Grand Villa. So it's the best points, like cheapest points if you need 3 bedrooms. And we're going to be staying at a tree house in July when we do our SummerFest in that month. So we'll be able to have some content and stuff about the tree houses.
We need video of Phil on the top bunk.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing that on a weekend?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll come down for that because I've always wanted to check those rooms types out.
Yes.
We love the tree houses when we stayed there.
Yeah.
We should talk about that.
Yeah. No, we did. We loved it, and we especially loved it because we had some of our kids and our grandkids with us, and so that 3rd bedroom for us was actually really, really great because it's perfect if you have little ones.
Mm-hmm.
They loved it. We felt like we were just kind of staying in the woods, and the walk to Disney Springs was great. So it's better to stay there if you have a car because, for transportation purposes, it's easier access. It definitely, if you've rented a car or you drive down, but we loved it.
And you're not paying Grand Villa points. Like affordable points for 3 bedrooms.
Yeah, it was great.
I heard the boat horn is quite loud at 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. in the morning. So if you're sleeping in the horn, sorry, I went back to the bungalows. Are you still there?
I thought you were talking
We did the swap. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we swapped the Jeff for a Jeff, and things got weird.
We swapped, and I went back. I completely went back.
You thought you were talking about the tree houses.
I'm
Look,
sorry.
there are boats that go by the tree
I'm
houses.
just over here. There's
Yeah.
like musical chairs
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on.
sorry.
I'm over here like, someone please take my chair, but no one wants to push all the buttons.
No, you're the host. You have to stay.
Yeah. Well, the host is going to say we're probably going to wrap this up very, very soon. So if you guys have any other last-minute questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat. And I will kind of start wrapping us up by just, again, saying thank you so much to everyone at the World of DVC for allowing us the opportunity to do this weekend. We've had an amazing time. Tonight again we are on property. If you are here and available to join us on the boardwalk, kind of unofficial, we're just going to be milling about. Jeff's going to be waving magnets around, just giving them to anyone that he sees. But it's just kind of very informal. We are doing a vlog of this entire weekend as well, so we will try to get as many people as possible as part of that vlog. And so that'll be great. And then at 9 tonight, we are all going to head to Jelly Rolls and see what songs they can play for us. Anyone have any requests they got in mind? I feel like Amy and I have to request Country Roads just because we're from West Virginia.
We know Pauline and Jeff are going to request something Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm going to request all of the songs from the Country Bear Jamboree because I'm really, really sad that is getting changed. So I want to hear all of those songs.
Yeah. So we should have some fun times there later tonight. We were actually we were just on Icon of the Seas with Royal Caribbean, and they now have a dueling piano bar. And there was this game going back and forth of who could pay more money to either have them play a Taylor Swift song or not play a Taylor Swift song. And the cutest part of it was the fact that there was this group of kids that were there that evening, and they ran to all of their parents to gather enough money to win the argument so that they would play a Taylor Swift song. So yeah, that'll be fun. I did... Mikey wrote, I want to see Derek sing A Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. I did try to get this group to go to karaoke last night, but no one wanted to sing with me. So
that should be part of it.
Maybe that'll happen on another DVC Fan SummerFest or another meetup event that we have going on. But any other last thoughts before we kind of wrap things up? I again just want to thank all of you for kind of being here and being a part of this weekend. Wouldn't be able to do it without you all. You guys have been so instrumental to just our success with DVC Fan over the past year, and love having you all here and being able to have everyone together in one room. And thank you all for joining the live stream today as well. I will.
Thank you, Paul.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you for everything you do.
I do nothing.
He does everything. That's
push buttons.
That's gonna make me lose our family rating by saying bad words at him.
Yeah.
He does everything. These two are awesome.
But yeah, no, it's been a great show. This will take the place of our normal Monday show, so I'll probably make sure it sounded and looked okay, and then this will go up as an audio version of our podcast for Monday. So this will be Monday's episode of the DVC show because I don't have any time between now and Monday to actually edit anything else. And we have plans tomorrow. We're going to kind of hang around the Grand Villa for a while as well. Last but certainly not least, I threatened to do this many weeks and months ago. I said whenever the news of the Polynesian Association was confirmed, I was going to pop a bottle of champagne live. And so when the news broke yesterday, I actually didn't say what I think you were confused at the moment when it all happened because all I kept writing was I need champagne.
Yeah.
And Jeff goes, "What's going on? What's happening?" Like I had you completely confused.
For sure. Yeah.
But we did get the champagne here.
Watch your
This is a
equipment.
plastic cork.
Watch your equipment. That's a twist.
It's a twist. Okay. But thank you all for joining our live stream and our first DVC Fan SummerFest weekend. We will be doing kind of more events like this in the future. Cheers to the Polynesian because we are super excited about the new association there.
And here we go.
Also, someone said in the chat, "Happy Mother's Day" to all the mothers out there. So,
Oh yeah.
wish
Happy
all
Mother's
the
Day
mothers
to all the
Happy
but
Mother's Day.
excited about the Poly News. We're excited to check out the new tower when it opens in December. You can bet that we will be there on day one, banging on doors, having people let us in their rooms. Hopefully we'll have a room ourselves. Who knows? But it is part of the existing association. We have said that for months, and it's great to finally have that confirmed. So cheers. We will celebrate here, and we're going to then head down to the boardwalk and enjoy seeing a lot of you people there this evening. So until next week, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next, well, not this Monday, but the next Monday. We'll see you for another episode of the DVC Show.